Hello and welcome to Dave Speakman Music. Today I'm just going to show you around my studio. This is my 100th upload, so I'm celebrating. I thought I'd just show you around my studio. Obviously with the restrictions that are in place, some people haven't been able to come and visit, and yeah, if anybody's interested, I'll just show you around and show you the stuff that I've got. So it's based around a Pro Tools system. I use an Avid S1 to control. I don't use a console. I've got a few little workarounds of recording parallels and things like that. Without that, I'm using a Focusrite interface that's ultra low latency anyway. You can monitor direct through the interface. You don't need to be able to use a console to do that. I'm just using the Presonus monitor station for talkback and stuff. There's a review of that here. The monitors that I use are the Adam A77Xs. I did a review of those as well. There's a link to that here. The control room, I'll just show you around. So basically everything's based around this Focusrite system. I have the UAD 4710D preamps, there's 4 of them. I've got 4 of the TL Audio preamps. I bought them when I was at university. These are Neve clones. They are from AML, Neve 1073 clones. They're ridiculous. There's DBX 160 there, which is on loan from my friend Gaz. Thanks, Gaz. Got a couple of compressors that we use for tracking on the way in. These are Warm Audio ones. I found them to be pretty good. The LA2A clone is really good. The 1176 is okay, but it's pretty good for like smashing room mics up and stuff like that when you're recording drums. You'll see throughout the studio I kind of leave stuff set up a lot. So a couple of mics back here. There's a Neumann KM184, AKG 414. I've got a pair of each of them. But when I'm recording acoustic guitars, which I do loads, these are the mics that I tend to use. So I just leave them on stands, ready to go. I'm a massive believer in leaving stuff set up ready to go anyway. I like to think of recording as part of the creative process, and as a musician, I'm primarily a musician, I'm a guitarist. I don't like it when there's lots of messing around, getting mics set up, ready for things when I've got an idea that I want to record. So I've tried to bring those things forward into my own recording, so stuff set up generally ready to go. Because I'm a guitarist, there's a load of guitars here. These are my guitars really. I do quite a bit of session work, so I have stuff set up, and you can see there's a little Tweed 5E3 that I built, and as promised it's mic'd up, ready to go. There's a silver face champ there, that's not mic'd up, it's easy enough to swap it for the Tweed. We do quite a bit of recording in this. I mean, this is the control room, but I actually do quite a bit of recording in here anyway. The Acoustic Treatment is from GIK. I did a review of those two, there's a link here. Yeah, so that is the control room essentially. I spend far too much of my life up here. So I've got a little live room, just a little booth sort of room here. This is really good sort of vocal booth that I've built, which kind of keeps things tidy. As I said, you know, there's a mic set up, there's headphones set up, ready to go. It's a U87, ready to go. And then we use the rest of this space as kind of an amp room. There's one of the drum kits. There's 2 drum kits at the studio. This is the kitchen with the most important things. There's a coffee machine and a kettle. That's what we need. And then I've got like a little workshop in here. You probably saw this on the early video. A couple of snare drums. There's one of the studio drum kits is stored down there. There's more storage space through that door, but we don't go through that door. So that's like cases and stuff like that. Just get them all out of the way. And if we go downstairs into the live room, See, I've got quite a few amps and stuff. Guitar amps, Fender Twin. It's a Marshall. It's like a JCM 800 cabinet, that is, from the 80s. It's really good. It weighs an absolute ton. I've got a Marshall JMP head as well, but that's at home at the moment. There's a Gartone 15 watt amp there that's a bit like an AC15, hand wired by Martin Garton, who's one of the best amp builders in the world in my opinion. There's another Gartone here. This one's like a Fender Blackface amp. That's my main gigging amp, that's what I use that for, and that's probably my second main gigging amp. And you can see, again, you know, the Gartone's there, it's mic'd up, ready to go. I do a lot of session stuff, so it's just there, it's ready to go. And there's headphones here, plumbed in, ready to record, so we're ready to go. Now, if you're coming into the studio for a session, if you let me know what your instrumentation is beforehand, I will get stuff set up ready and I'll have mics on stands appropriate for that instrumentation. Read any of my Google reviews, they all say the same thing, that the sessions are set up and ready to go when we go. So you're not going to get here and be sat around for 3 hours while I try different microphones on the kick drum. I'll have decided what microphones I'm going to use before the session and we'll just be ready to go. It's not to say that there won't be some experimentation on the day, because there will. I'm big into experimentation, but more of a creative thing. I'm interested in trying to get the best performance from what you guys are doing. It's not about documenting it, it's about, you know, it being part of the creative process. I've got a load of pedals as well, as you might expect being a guitarist, too many pedals. I've got a load of pedals. And this is my gigging pedal board, but it lives down at the studio. For some reason, I've not had many gigs this year. So it lives down here. I've got a load of other pedals upstairs as well. I'll perhaps sling some B-roll of them in a minute. This is one of the best things that we've got at the studio, which is this piano. It's a C7 grand piano from Yamaha. As C7s go, this one's not too bright, but it does get that bright sort of poppy sound that you'd expect. You know, I think Jamie Cullum uses a C7 as well, so it is that kind of sound. It's kind of really good. It kind of sticks through in a mix of a pop thing, or can be, you know, up front in a jazz trio. Done lots and lots of jazz recordings down here, and lots of pop stuff as well, all sorts of different stuff. If you want to listen to some of my recordings, I'll shamelessly just put links at the end of the video of my own stuff. It's my own material that I recorded myself, and wrote all the songs, wrote the theme tune, wrote the sing film, performed the theme tune, you know, all of that. Yeah, and then there's more storage space that you probably saw on the way in. A load of books, you can borrow on if you want. Some cymbals. Again, I'm massively into the sound source as being the main thing. So in my ethos, the performance is the most important thing, and then the second most important thing is you yourself, how you're playing, your fingers, your touch on the instrument, and then it's the instrument that we're recording. So things like cymbals are really useful to have. If I want to change the sound of the drums, I find changing the cymbals, you know, if the cymbals are too bright, changing the cymbals is the answer. It's not changing the microphones. Although I've got too many microphones. Well, last count was 48, bit of a problem. Yeah. The acoustic treatment down here is GIK as well. So it's a good size space. It's not massive, so it's controlled, you know. The reverb time is controlled down here. I've got these baffles as well, so if we want to tighten the sound up, we can. There's also some of these plastic divider things. Obviously, we're a COVID secure venue, so you can see there's hand sanitizer here. There's a thing of masks for if you've forgotten your mask and you need to go to the chippy. There's hand sanitizer here as well on the on the way through to the other thing, and a load of other stuff that we might need, moon gel and stuff for recording drums. Cables are ready to be used, essentially. So I try and leave things ready to be used. So like I say, if you're going to be recording with the piano, I'll mic the piano up before you get here. I'm not going to mess around doing that whilst you're here. There will be some sound checking to do, obviously, but what I really don't want is people sat around waiting to record the next take. As a musician, I know how frustrating that is. And then obviously there are toilets. I'm not going to show you the toilets because that's boring, but the toilets are through there. Yeah, that's it. So if you want to come down and have a look once lockdown's over, that's cool. Officially speaking, even in lockdowns, the recording industry is allowed to carry on working. Professional recording and rehearsal is allowed. So if you're a professional musician, there's absolutely no reason whatsoever why you can't be recording and rehearsing if you feel that that's safe to do. That said, obviously, if you're just coming down for a brew and a chat, maybe leave that until after the lockdown. But I'm really happy to see any of you. There's been a couple of people been in touch about coming down. Yeah, come down, have a look. If you play, let's have a jam. I'm really missing playing with other people at the moment as much, so that'd be great. If anyone has any questions about what gear I've got and stuff, just leave me a comment in the question. Just leave me a question in the comments below and I'll answer it. And also, if you follow me on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that, I'm regularly posting about the sort of equipment that I've got and setups that we're using in the studio, so you can see some of the workflow that I use. Go to Google, read the reviews of the studio. They're all good reviews from customers who've been here and people who will attest to the fact that stuff will be set up for you when you get here. You're not going to be sat around waiting for ages. What I was saying about the sound source thing before, I'm big into that. So if there's a particular thing that you want, I'm really good friends with a guy, Chris, over in Northwich, and Chris has the most obscene collection of vintage audio equipment that you will ever see in your life. CH Vintage Audio he's called. Check his website out. So if you want a Mark I Fender Rhodes for your recording, I can hire that in for you. If you want a JTM 45, like a proper one, an original JTM 45, I can get you one. If you want an AC30, a proper one, a JMI, I can get you one. So there's not very much. I've been to Chris's and looked through his warehouse. There's not very much that he's not got, actually. So if there is something that you want, please do get in touch. We also do lots of classical recordings. If you've got strings, things like that to record, this room is great for recording strings because it's dry enough, but big enough that it doesn't box the sound in. So really, with the two live rooms upstairs, well, with the control room and the little live room upstairs and the large live room down here, we can get most of the sounds that you're after. But if it was a bigger sort of drum sound that you were looking to, I also work up at Edge Studios in Macclesfield. There's a link to a video here of some stuff that we've done there, some drum recording. We could go there to record drums or anything that you want in a massive space, because that's a really big, long reverb time room. It's great up there as well. Please do like the video, please do subscribe to the channel. I'm really glad of the people who are supporting me on this channel. Like, some of you watch the videos even when it's stuff that you're not even that interested in, which is really nice of you, thank you. Yeah, it's been an exciting journey having the studio. It's been a strange time to start a new business. Obviously, I've been open for about 18 months now, but it is working. The business is working, which I was dubious as to whether it would work, not knowing what was going to happen. And then after what happened, to be honest with you, I just assumed that, I don't know, that I wasn't going to have any work at all. But it's been good. We've been keeping working, managing to keep the business open and going, which is great. Please come to me with your recording projects. Original stuff, cover stuff, jazz. That's the stuff that I like doing, really, is kind of people when they're writing their own music. I'm really into that, and I really enjoy recording jazz, stuff that's improvised. I really like being creative on the recording sessions. Listen to some of the stuff that I've recorded with Ben Williams that's coming out in the next few months. you'll see is quite a creative element to what we've been doing with it. Great, thank you very much for watching. Cheers, bye-bye.